Welcome to the Seven Figure Jump, part of the iEntrepreneur Radio Network. We are so honored to be able to bring you your host, two-time recipient of the internationally coveted Presentainer Award, honored as one of the top 10 women in business to follow globally, as well as one of the top change coaches in the world. We are excited to bring you your host, Dr. Karen Perkins.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I am so excited for today. And I hope everybody remembered that time zones changed. It's daylight savings time now. Um, and so if you were expecting us to be on an hour ago, well, we're now on at 10 o'clock Mountain Time and noon Eastern Time, like always, where the time zones have changed. And I've had a couple people say, I thought no, it didn't start yet. That being said, they say fall back and spring forward with the daylight savings. But the whole purpose of the daylight savings initially was for the farmers and so that they had more time to plow in their fields and do the things that they needed to do. Well, a lot of what we do in life is kind of like farming. And we have a lot of work to do, and we have to put in the work. We have to plow the fields. We have to dig the ditches, and we have to plant the seeds, and we have to water them and nurture them and watch them grow. And sometimes we need help. And I'm excited because our guest today is somebody who's going to help us with that. However, before we get there, let's find out what's been going on with Robert and give him a big kudos because we love Robert and all the work he does to produce the show. Hey, Robert, how are you today?
Hey, Dr. Karen, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am so phenomenal that you can't even imagine.
I can feel it coming through the
Yeah.
StreamYard. Absolutely.
Hey, I understand that this is the last week to sign up for a page in our book. Is that right?
It is. It is. We have a cutoff date to secure your spot by the 6th, Friday at 5 p.m. And then for people to deliver their content on the 9th. And one of the things I want to remind everyone is these are author quotes by you, the author, not other authors. And, so it's your quote, your thought, and your question to other entrepreneurs, business owners, and influencers. Maybe they struggled through COVID. Maybe they need some inspiration and support. And that's what this book is about. It's going to go out to over 250,000 people worldwide with us.
You talk about it being the inspiration and hope. I know hundreds, more likely thousands, but I'm going to say hundreds so it doesn't sound exaggerated. I know hundreds of people who aspire to give hope and inspiration to the world. And yet they will spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for the chance to spread their message to a room of 5, 10, 100 people. Mm-hmm. And yet they can get a page of their date of their choice for $100 and inspire tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands forever. And that just doesn't make sense to me. So anybody that's a speaker or a coach or a school teacher, even a business, an entrepreneur, any thought leader, it's to me, this is the legacy you want to leave. And this is the easiest way to give hope and inspiration to people throughout the entire world. And so I just, I get on my soapbox about it, but what an amazing opportunity, not to mention that is such an inexpensive price to improve your search engine. And everybody is looking for a way to improve their search engine so they can be found.
Well, I think what's really great is, one of the things I was an athlete. I still like to say I'm an athlete because I still work out, but not like I was when I was younger. And everything starts with getting your shoes put on. And, there are those of us, maybe we're not an author. this is like putting on your shoes. This is for some, entrepreneurs, this is your first way to get a taste of what it's like to be published and to be
Yeah.
somewhere and to have that pride and to put it on your LinkedIn profile, to let your family know, to let people on Facebook know. But there's also those members who may have 4 or 5 or 6, best-selling books out here. Well, here's another way of saying, here's a 7th time, or maybe it's your 8th time, but it won't just be a bestseller. It's going to be a book that was accepted and approved by the Library of Congress. And I know
Yeah.
a lot of bestsellers out there, but not a lot of them have the claim to say that they're in the Library of Congress, by
Yeah.
having their quote and thought in a book such as this collaboration that you and I are doing, Dr. Karen.
Yeah, well, tell them again how they can go in and get more information and secure their spot in history, their inspiration day, and their page.
Well, they can go to 365. It's the 365 networking quotes. Again, 365 networking quotes. Let's see, the art of connection, and this is the website scrolling across right there. It's www. If you want to put that in here, 365networkingquotes.com. It's the website, has all the information. It gives some contributions by authors, so you can look at their sample. It looks at the sample page and the cover of the book, but see yourself there. I mean, if you can see it, you can believe it, and guess what? You're going to be with us. So please be a part of this book. Let's make that history, and let's inspire other entrepreneurs and business owners who may not have had the success that we've had.
Yeah. Woo woo. So tell me, you've got your show on Thursday, and my time zone has changed, but yours has not. So tell me again what time your show is.
Well, our time, being in Arizona, it's always the same. So it's 2:30 to 3:30 Arizona time, and right now I'm thinking that means we're back to Mountain Time, right?
Mountain Time, so that would be 4:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah. So it's always changing. So please, if you're in Arizona, nothing changes. If you're in pretty much any other place in the world, everything changes. So
yeah, for me, Arizona, sorry, I changed. Oh, that's funny. So what else have you got coming up here in the near future?
Well, what I'm doing right now is I am working with PetSmart. So here's my shameless my plug for PetSmart. PetSmart in the Southeast Valley of Phoenix has stores, and at the stores you can buy at the pet store you can buy toys for kids for only $5. Now, what's really interesting about it is 20%, I believe it's 20% of the proceeds go to local charities, but 100% of the toys go to local charities. And I am the director of the Southeast Valley here in Phoenix. So I get to play Santa Claus pretty much for the next 2 months, picking up thousands of toys and delivering them to kids all across Phoenix. And so I'm really happy about that. Not only am I doing that, I've roped my 2 sons, one who's 14 and one who's 12, and helping me carry all these toys. And the faces on the kids when they get them is amazing. It really, really is. Some of them get them right now, and some of them are going to have to wait to Christmas. It just depends on the organization that I'm working with.
That is so exciting. So people, you want to donate toys to these kids, go to PetSmart and get a toy, $5. Yes, that giving kid that happiness is worth the $5.
Yeah, it really is. And and what's really funny is the happiness in the staff's face too. When we come in there with these bags that are like 4 feet tall, all full of toys, including unicorns, because everyone seems to want the unicorn this year. But the staff as well, they all come out and they love that, people are, someone is taking the time out of their busy life, even during COVID, to get these toys to deliver it to kids in need.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm getting ready for the event in Phoenix in Vegas. They're going to have a free demo type session on Thursday night. from 7 to 9 there at the Venetian. And then she's got that 3-day workshop. Marty Berigian that was on our show, gosh, I guess it's been about a month ago now. She's got that workshop on energy and specifically the energy for abundance. So I'm really excited about that. And so anybody who's wanting to go to that or more information, go to Marty Berigian, MartyBerigian.VIP/life. There. Now I did my shameless plug.
And what's great about Marty, if you think you know what energy is, you probably don't. When you see Marty, she gives you a matrix of information on how energy is created, how it is envelops us, how it is all around us, and how we can be a part of it. So I too want to shameless plug Marty. I mean, she's an amazing woman. She's taught hundreds, thousands of people in her brand. And right now, she is the rock star with the longest longevity in her industry. And if there's any time to see someone like Marty, it is right now. It really is.
Yep. I'm excited. It's going to be a great weekend. That being said, Robert, I'm ready for some straight talk because today is definitely a straight talk day.
Yes, it is.
Okay, straight talk with Dr. K. And I'll tell you what, if you are one of our listeners in the United States, today is Tuesday, November 3rd, and it is election day. And I cannot stress enough how important it is that every one of us go out and vote. And, when I say go out and vote, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm telling you to really do the research, find out what your local candidates, the national candidates, what they really stand for. And when I say go out and find, I don't mean what was posted on Facebook or somewhere like that. I mean, seriously, go in and see what they voted on and do the real research, but go vote. Let your voice be heard because so many of us have become apathetic. And when I say us, please know I don't mean me, but so many people have become apathetic and they're not going out and voting. And then we're frustrated, upset, and annoyed because we didn't get in the candidate that we wanted. And then we make a lot of noise that, things were unfair. It's not unfair. Go vote, have your voice be heard. That is my straight talk for today. Please go and vote today, the 3rd, till the votes close. I'm guessing, I don't know what time they close. See your local, look it up on the internet, see when your local time closes and where your local voting section is. And if you've already voted or mailed it in, kudos to you. I'm proud of you. That being said, let's go ahead and go to a commercial because I'm excited to bring on our guest today.
Network together. It's all about connections. Expand your sphere of influence. Build relationships. Be part of something bigger. Be part of Network Together.
Hi, my name is Nathan Hirsch, and I build and even sell businesses completely run by virtual assistants. That's right. No office, no US employees, just remote non-US virtual assistants. And I recently scaled an 8-figure business with just VAs. Now, I want to teach other people how to do the same with my new venture, Outsource School. We teach you how to interview, onboard, train, and manage virtual assistants at a very high level. We also give you access to our standard operating procedures, our library of SOPs, and a tool to create and share your SOPs. Not to mention community, support, live coaching calls to help you build amazing virtual teams and avoid the issues that your competitors are probably having. If you are interested, go to outsourceschool.com. You can grab a free trial to check out what Outsource School is all about.
One of the questions we get asked, especially for this show, is what really makes the difference between somebody who's 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, even 8 figures? Well, the biggest difference is they know how to utilize their resources and their time. And some of us don't have enough hours in the day to do all of the work ourselves, nor should we, because that doesn't give us the opportunity and time to shine in our glory. And I'm so excited for our guest today. Just saw his commercial, Nathan Hirsch. And Nathan is a very, very young man. And as an even younger man, he started his first company. I believe it was his first, we'll have to ask, for about $5,000 back in 2015. And, he then turned around and sold that company for over 12 million. And he he just really knows how to do these things, and using virtual assistants and building companies using them. But the fact that he's now put together this school for those of us who are entrepreneurs and need a little bit of extra help, I'm so excited to have him tell us about this, how we can use this tool, but also to hear his story, because Nathan is amazing. When I talked to him for the first time, I was so awestruck, and I begged and pleaded, please, please be on my show, because I knew you guys would love him as much as I do. That being said, let's bring Nathan on and let's find out all kinds of things. Nathan, how in the heck are you?
Dr. Karen, I am doing fantastic. How are you?
You know what? I said that it was your first business, and then I went, you know what? I don't know if it was his first business. Was that your first business that you put 5,000 in 2015?
So I've had 3 businesses, and I've started them all with $5,000. The first business was actually an Amazon business that I started out of my college dorm room. I was buying and selling people's textbooks to get started, and I actually got a cease and desist letter from my college telling me to knock it off and to stop competing with their bookstore. And from there, I didn't want to get kicked out of college. So I pivoted, and I had sold some books on Amazon. I started doing trial and error, learning the Amazon space, trying to test different products. And I started off with products that I was familiar with, like sporting equipment, video games, computers, like typical college guy stuff. And I just failed over and over and over. And it wasn't until I found the baby product industry that my business really took off. So I was selling hundreds of thousands, eventually millions of dollars of baby products, drop shipping from my college dorm room. And that's really how I get into hiring, because at first, when I had to hire, I turned to college kids and they were super unreliable.
No. Tell me it's not so.
I know.
Tell me it's not so. It's funny you say that, because it's not just college kids. There are a lot of people that I've gone out and hired and trusted, and they were not as reliable as I thought they would be. And a lot of it comes from, don't want to get on the soapbox. I got on it last week. But, we got a lot of people right now, especially our youth, that feel like minimum wage is beneath them, even though they've never had a job, and that they should start out making $100,000 a year just because they were born. And so they don't show up, they don't do the work, because, hey, you owe it to me, because I am gracing you with my presence. Now, that being said, we've got a lot of great people, a lot of great employees, but I've used some of these types of virtual assistants that you're going to tell us more about, and I've always been pleased and had great success. But you do have to know the ins and outs to find the right ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for years, I was kind of fighting 2 things. One, I had never hired before. So whenever you're starting off hiring, you don't really know what you're doing. But then at the same time, I was a 20-year-old entrepreneur. People weren't taking me seriously. I tried hiring in the real world. What adult wants to work for a 20-year-old entrepreneur? And even then, I mean, it was just a constant battle to find the right people and get them to respect me and do what I wanted. So, I mean, I think you're right. I think there are people out there that maybe aren't the hardest workers, but there's talented tons of talented people out there from all over the world. You just, as the entrepreneur, need to have a good hiring process. And we kind of break hiring down into interviewing, onboarding, training, and managing people. But before you do any of that, you have to understand what the virtual assistant space is. I mean, we live in an incredible time where you can hire people in your town and the towns next to you, all over the US, all over the world, different price points, different skill sets, part-time, full-time, project-based. You just have so many options as an entrepreneur that you get to utilize, which can also be overwhelming, but you need a good process to take advantage of that flexibility.
You said it. It's not that people are unreliable. It's that I didn't know how to hire. See, I knew I'd lead you into that segue. and a lot of that really comes down to it. We need the education and knowing how to do things. Our HR departments, if we're a large corporation, have gone through these things. Most of us as entrepreneurs, unless we were part of the HR department in a major corporation, haven't had the school of hard knocks and somebody else holding our hand and telling us what to do, how to do it, and why to do it. And that's what your outsource school is about, right?
Yeah, I mean, so after the Amazon business, when we got into VAs, we were hiring our VAs for our first time. We made a lot of mistakes. We eventually created what we thought was a really good hiring process, and we put it to the test. We started a second business called Free Up, and we scaled this business over 4 years to 8 figures. And we did it with no office, no US employees, just me, my business partner, and 35 remote virtual assistants in the Philippines. And we ended up being acquired at the end of last year, 4 years into the company. And once we were acquired, once we were acquired, we had this really great hiring system. We wanted to teach it to other people. So we started a new venture called Outsource School, where people that join get access to all of our tactics, all of our systems, all of our documents, SOPs that we use to not only hire great VAs, but hire great VAs for different roles like customer service, team leaders, project managers, and be able to keep them happy, keep them around, reduce turnover, and avoid issues. And when you can do all of that, hiring becomes very powerful because you save money, you have the flexibility, but you also have rock star people going to bat with you every single day. And that's how you scale a business.
You know, for some of the entrepreneurs, I've had them ask me, what is an SOP? Standard operating procedures. So that's basically your guidebook, right? Your checkbox, do this, do that, do the other.
Yeah, and so an SOP is a standard operating procedure. It's a training document, and we actually have a tool called Simply SOP that allows you to turn it into video and use text and easily share it with other people. And we include that as a bonus in Outsource School. But these SOPs are so important for so many reasons. I mean, back before I had SOPs, it was really tough to train people. I had to do one-on-one training with everyone and hope that they worked out. And if I left, there was no manual or anything for people to look stuff up. They had to contact me if I was on vacation or traveling or whatever it was. And the other thing it allows you to do is become scalable, because once you have 10 plus people, you have a lot of different systems. You can't be responsible for knowing what's going on everywhere. So it allows that consistency. It allows you to hire more people. And it also lastly makes you sellable. I mean, if we went to sell Free Up and they said, how does customer service work? And we said, oh, don't worry, it's in my head, or Jane in customer service knows how to do it. They're not buying that business. They need to see systems and processes. So it's always recommended to start creating SOPs early on. We teach our members how to create really good SOPs, but we also provide them with ours, and we have a tool to help create new ones that saves them a lot of time.
Yeah, and you know, I love it. The videos do allow stability, and it's kind of letting people go on and see things. My big question though, and I know a lot of these answers because you and I have talked, so I'm just going to ask it like I don't. So the big question is, why really would I want a VA, and how would it really benefit me as a singlepreneur?
Yeah, so single entrepreneurs need to realize that they only have X amount of hours in a week. Some might work 40, 50, 60, 80, 100, but at some point you max out on those hours. And if you can hire a virtual assistant to take the tasks off your plate that are not actually growing your business, repetitive tasks, that's time that's freed up for you to grow and expand and get new clients or hire more people, whatever you want to do. Or even if it's not business related, more time to spend with your family, to take time off, to enjoy life. And so what people don't realize is just by hiring a $5 an hour virtual assistant for 5 hours a week, that's going to save you 260 hours a year. That's 6.5 extra weeks you have in a year as a solo entrepreneur. You can do a lot with that time, and it only costs you about $1,300 a year. And so when you ask a lot of people and they say, oh, I can't afford to hire a VA or whatever it is, isn't a month and a half of extra time worth $1,300? In most situations it is. And that's how you have to look at it, is where am I spending my time and what should I be focused on?
Well, if they spent 5 hours a week, that's what, $25 a week, $100 a month. That now gives you 20 hours that you can work on your business and bring in more than $100. And so you're right. It's just one of those things. It's like, do the math. Just do the math.
Right, exactly.
What's the biggest thing you find people run into besides them saying, I can't afford it? What's their biggest misnomer or
My business, they're not going to do it as good of a job as I can. And people have a risk of just trusting other people in general. But what I like to remind people is, first of all, there's only one way up. Like at some point, if you don't hire, you're going to hit that ceiling. And there's very few $1 million a year solo entrepreneurs out there, or $5 million a year, whatever it is, very few of them. So hiring is the only option if you want to scale. And the average virtual assistant cares so much more about providing for their family, keeping you as a client, making sure you're happy and that you refer other clients, staying on whatever marketplace you got them. So you have to remember that the risk is a lot smaller than people think. And at the same time, it's really the only option if you want to grow your business.
Those that know me know that I've been an entrepreneur for many years, and I've also held about every C-suite position in corporate America and do corporate consulting in addition. So that's what happens when you're my age, Nathan. You can do everything. That being said, I have found that when I trust my staff and I just let them do what they shine at and let me work on the stuff I shine at, as long as they've got the proper training. When they ask me, can I give a refund or, talk to this customer, they're usually a lot more not as lenient as I would be. And they're more concerned about the bottom line for the company than sometimes I would be myself, even though I'm concerned about the bottom line, because they really feel that loyalty. And the same with the VAs. They feel that loyalty. They want to see you grow. It not only secures their work, but they have tremendous pride in seeing you grow and your business grow, because to them, that is a pat on the back.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, once you start hiring virtual assistants, if you do it right, I mean, you can become your virtual assistant's favorite client. It's not always that you win or they win. I like to find win-win relationships, and those are the kind of people that stick around with you for years. I mean, at first, when I had no idea what I was doing, I had lots of people quit on me. My turnover was over 50%. Fast forward to today, that the same people we hired in the first month of FreeUp, or with FreeUp, when we sold it 4 years later, the same people we hired with Outsource School at the beginning, still with us. People stick around when you treat them well. And it's not always about money. Money is a part of it, but when you can get them to buy into your company, when you show appreciation, when you build relationships with people, when you create a family inside your business, people care about that. And they can also, you got money, you've got how you get them to buy in, but also the small things. I like to make small wins for my people, whether it's giving them out of the 8-hour day, they get 3 hours of flexible schedule because I don't need them on set schedule the entire time. It's for some roles require set schedule. Maybe I've had VAs in the past that needed 2 hours off every day to work with their kids or do whatever they were doing. And when you can find those small things that don't affect you in any way, but are a big win for them, that's the other thing that can keep people around.
And you teach us that how that philosophy in your school, right?
Yeah, we have so many tactics. I mean, we even have our Rockstar virtual assistants that do sales calls. They do onboarding calls for new members. They go live in our Facebook group talking about virtual assistants. I mean, that's how I got to learn about VAs is Chick Yan, my first VA, who was a rock star, I went to her and I said, hey, I've never talked to someone in the Philippines before. I've never hired a VA before. What do I need to know? What are your other clients doing? What do you like? What do you not like? What's the best way to communicate? And not that I just followed her lead to the T, but that gave me valuable information. And I know that a lot of our members love interacting with my team and my business partners team because that's where a lot of the learning happens and a lot of the small things that can make a big difference in your business.
Well, what all do you use your VAs for? Sounds like an awful lot of your business can be run with VAs.
Yeah, I mean, we use VAs for everything. Our entire business is run by VAs. I mean, in the business we just sold, they did everything from sales calls and customer service to data entry and research and lead generation to marketing and content around marketing, like video editing, graphic design, writing articles for our blog, and everything in between. So a lot of people have the mentality that, okay, VAs are for data entry work, small tasks. Yeah, you can do that. You probably don't need my help figuring out a VA to do that. But if you want to do higher level stuff and save money, make your business more lean, build an amazing team that will grow with you over time, we can teach you how to set up these different roles in your business that can be run flawlessly with affordable virtual assistants.
Hey, you just said something amazing. And I don't think a lot of people stop to think about it. You know the roles that people need in their organization to grow. A lot of us are like, well, what do I need? Do I need a marketer? Do I need a salesperson? Do I need a PR? Do I need somebody to post for me? What do I need? And you can really, with knowing the roles, kind of outline, this is what people do. I know a lot of entrepreneurs don't know the difference between a marketer and a salesperson. In fact, a lot of marketers and salespeople don't know the difference between them. And so you've got that all lined out, isn't that right?
Yeah, and there's certain, like the way that you hire a sales VA is a lot more complicated than the way that you hire a lead generation VA. But for the lead generation VAs, we have systems and templates that are already made that you can plug in. And for the sales VA, we're going to walk you through exactly how to do it. Like and we also share with you exactly what we're doing. When I just hired my new sales VA, Kim, we shared the interview that we did with our group. We shared the onboarding video we did with our group. We walked them through what we look for, what we try to avoid. Everything that we do is the same stuff that we're teaching. And you get to not only learn from us, but watch us do it and build a business run by virtual assistants at the same time.
Man, you guys are totally transparent. I love that. A lot of companies are like, well, we'll share a little bit with you, but then you have to come back and rely on us for everything else. And you really are just giving them the whole, kit and caboodle, giving them their cake and letting them eat it too, so to say.
We're trying.
So tell me a little bit more about Outsource School.
Yeah, so Outsource School, it's $97 a month or $9.97 for the year. When you sign up, you get an onboarding call with my team to walk you through and create a roadmap for you to go through our trainings. You can also give our trainings to your CEO, your COO, your project manager, your team leader, directly to your best virtual assistant. And our team will walk you through that. You get access to all of our different trainings. We come out with a new training every single month, our active community, our support to help you along the way, and our unique hiring process, which we call IOTM, which is interviewing, onboarding, training, and managing. And you get everything from the exact interview questions we ask to our meeting templates to our firing checklist to make sure that your business is protected if you have to fire someone. So all of that is included, and we just continue to add on the value into our library along with the software every single month.
You know what? I love that. And, people are like 97 a month and, 997 a year. I've wasted more than that on a bad decision on somebody to help me with something. Many times.
Cost
Many
of a bad
times.
hire is a lot.
A bad hire costs you a lot, not just what you paid them, but what they cost you in lost time and sometimes lost revenue and sometimes in hurting your business. Now, as a singlepreneur, somebody who's just starting out and they're just getting their feet wet for the first time, is a VA something that would help them and benefit them?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the 5 hours a week. I mean, that's where I start. I didn't just wake up one day and hire 35 full-time virtual assistants. I started off with 5 hours a week and built up from there. And you have to remember, you're either going to hire people too early or too late. And there's a big opportunity cost for hiring people too late. You can miss out on revenue, miss out on things that you could be doing, get burnt out, whatever it is. But hiring too early has a lot of benefits. You're going to be able to focus your time. And when you're a solo entrepreneur, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur on a small budget, I've been there multiple times, you need to be focused on the right things every single day. So even if you hire a VA for an hour a day or 2 hours a week, that's time that you can focus on stuff that's actually going to grow your business.
I was first introduced to VAs when I did real estate 110 billion years ago, because I'm 110 and 5 billion years old. Uh, a long time ago, we had a guy in our office that hired 2 VAs to actually make a lot of his cold calls for him. And I thought, well, why wouldn't you do your own? And he looked at me and just went, why would I? So he had these VAs doing his cold calls, and he started out as brand new, and he was the top salesperson within about 2 months. And within a year, he was the top salesperson in the entire state. And it's because they did this hard stuff when it came to time consuming stuff, and allowed him to actually be showing the homes and closing the deals and working with the individuals instead of spending his time cold calling or farming, as they used to call it. And that was my first introduction, and that was long before you were born, dear. And long before you were born. But it was amazing to me because it was a new concept in my mind. It's like, why would you do that when you're just starting out and you're new? So, that's one of those testimonials, no matter what industry you're in, let somebody do the stuff that needs to get done while you do the stuff that it really brings in the dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really important. And the cool thing is once you learn how to hire virtual assistants, you can actually use them to grow your business. We use and teach how to hire virtual assistants for lead generation, to get you on podcasts and other speaking opportunities, to run content partnerships, to improve your SEO and get in front of other people's communities. We have an influencer playbook where we hire virtual assistants to do research and find influencers to promote our business. We did that a lot at FreeUp. We use virtual assistants to send our emails each week to our members and our non-members. So, I mean, you can, yes, get your time back, but there's also a certain element where you can use trial and error and hire virtual assistants to help you grow your business.
Yeah. And I always tell people that you're selfish if you try and do it all yourself, because let somebody else shine in their glory. And, instead of trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, be a master of your trade and let other people who are masters in their trade do it. And that benefits you and them. So
Yeah,
that's
all
my
about win-win
soapbox.
situations.
Yeah, it is win-win. And win-win, one of the things I hear people complain about, I lived in Malaysia for a year, so I have a little bit different view than people who have not done that. I have had people say, but you're hiring these folks at sweatshop rates, and what they don't understand is that is good income for their economy. And when we lived in Malaysia, they had a lot of companies from Australia and England and Ireland and the US and whatnot that were there because of the free trade zone there in Penang. And they were paid what would be considered a little bit below minimum wage here, but they were actually, that put them in the mid to high mid range where they were. And if they got paid the same thing that we expect people to be paid in the United States, it would actually have destroyed their economy. It would have made the rich rich and the poor even poorer. And this way it made them live healthy and happy, and they were thrilled to have a job making that much money because it's more than they could get with their local jobs. And so we're not cheating them and doing a sweatshop thing by paying them $5 or $8 or whatever an hour. And again, that's my soapbox. And now that I've said that, I want your point of view. And what do you think about this when people say, "Oh, you can't do that. That's just immoral and unethical"?
Yeah, I mean, we make sure that a VA is really happy with their rate before we hire them. I mean, like you said, at $5 an hour, the average or the minimum wage in the Philippines is $12 a day. So it doesn't take much to beat that. They're making a lot more than that at $5 an hour. But I also pay some of my best VAs more than $5 an hour. My team leader right now makes $12 an hour, which is fantastic from the Philippines. When we sold Free Up, we had VAs making over $20 an hour that had been with us for a while. And you can also treat people well in other ways. We gave bonuses every single, I think we did it every 6 months. When we sold Free Up, we took $500,000 from the sale and gave it to our team in the Philippines to make sure that they were taken care of, along with making sure their jobs are secure. So we are a firm believer in treating VAs well, but there are outside things where $1 in the Philippines goes a lot farther than $1 in the US.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot further. And I wanted to address that because I hear that a lot about how horrible we are because we're not paying them, what's the minimum wage here or what's a standard wage here. And the fact is, we're paying them more than they can get there locally. And you don't have to pay them all $5. And I like what you said that, you pay yours well. And the harder they work, the more they earn. And that's the same way it is anywhere in the world. The harder you work, the more you can earn. And people should be rewarded for that work. But a lot of people don't understand what they need to do to keep the VAs happy or any employee happy and what is a reward to them. And is that something you cover in your school?
Yeah, we help you map out a bonus and raise program. We show you and give recommendations for that. And there's other things that go with bonuses, like how to run meetings and give the bonus during the one-on-one performance meeting to help motivate and challenge them for future quarters. So there's lots of things that we've learned ourselves by hiring VAs, giving bonuses, giving raises. We also teach you how to set expectations up front so you don't run into issues in a year when the VA wants to make more than what you're willing to give as a raise. So we go through all of that.
Well, you know what? It sounds like you not just help them with VAs. Basically, you help them set up a business with employees, period. And a lot of businesses don't understand how to do their annual reviews, how to do a weekly check-in, how to do the you did a great job. Let me tell you, you did a great job. And hey, you're off track a little bit. What can we do to get you back on track? Instead of just saying nothing at all, and they're surprised that they either were 100% or they were fired because you weren't happy, because we don't stop and tell them along the way. So they can't make that change and improve. So that's a great thing, and that's one of your SOPs, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I mean, what's really cool, and we didn't expect this, is we actually have a lot of people that have both U.S. and non-U.S. teams, and they're taking our templates and applying them to their U.S. teams and seeing results of those too. So this stuff applies whether you hire from the Philippines, India, South Africa, U.S., Canada, Mexico. It's all the same stuff that helps you perform better with people that you're hiring.
So who is your perfect client?
Yeah, usually they're six-figure entrepreneurs who know they need to hire to get to the next level. Maybe they've tried hiring VAs before, or they even have a few VAs, but they're trying to get more out of it. They're trying to set up better systems, save them time, save the hassle, avoid past issues that they've had. Those are our ideal clients.
Well, see, I love that because this is the 7-figure jump. And some of these people are going, how do I jump? I tell the story about one of my clients. They're no longer at that point, but they spent like 6 years at $996,000. And it's like, it might have been 94. Anyway, they had $4,000 to $6,000 more to get over that million mark. And it was year after year after year. And part of it is up here, a good part of it, but a huge part of it is having the right systems in order, having the right tools, having the right team, and utilizing these things to help them get to that next level and to bring in the right clientele. And I love that you have a separation of lead generators and the salespeople and the follow up and the social media and that's amazing. And I don't think people understand how much one of those areas can improve your business, let alone one improves your business. Now you can bring in a second one for another area and then a third. And pretty soon they'll have such a business so big, they'll need 35, just like you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you start getting going with virtual assistants, it just opens up your brain to so many things. Even if systems you don't have, you can trial and error and build new systems. And of course, people that join Outsource School can take our systems and just plug them into their business.
Yeah. Well, that's yay. If you were to give one piece of advice to solopreneurs, and we'll go to the others in a minute, but to solopreneurs, what would it be?
Yeah, start off small. Start off hiring your first VA 2 to 5 hours a week, get those hours back, learn a lot, and build up from there. And if you want help, we'd love to help you do it.
Okay. And now if somebody who's got a few employees already and they're already doing some work, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, from there, it's all about building out systems and process, standard operating procedures, make sure that you're documenting everything, that stuff runs without you, and that your team takes ownership of those SOPs.
Now, don't you have a weekly podcast that you share some of this information on?
I actually used to. It was part of the acquisition. So I don't have a podcast anymore. Check out the Outsourcing and Scaling Show. It's run by Free Up now. I think they might have changed the name, but we might be launching a new podcast come January next year.
Okay, well, so we're all going to push for that because we want that podcast. How do they find out more about Outsource School and joining, either being one of your clients or just getting more information?
Yeah, go to outsourceschool.com. You can grab a free trial. You can set up a call with one of our rockstar virtual assistants and answer any questions you have, see if it's a good fit. And we're here to help however we can.
Okay, so here's my last question. Some of us are lazy. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not lazy. I need like 20 VAs just to give me time during the day to think. For those of us who just haven't found the time, and that's our excuse for not hiring a VA, do you have any systems that we can utilize that instead of us going out and doing everything, that you've got people that can go out and help us with that?
So we can connect you with one of our partners that can provide virtual assistants. At the same time, you still need systems and processes. So you still have to either create your own, or you can just take our systems and plug them into your business. So a great virtual assistant with great systems, that's how you get the most out of hiring.
So what we do is we join your group, we get all of your systems and things, you line us up with the partner, we give them the systems and say, go hire and make it work. And then that is a done for you system.
Yeah, we're not providing. So you can't just give the marketplace the systems. You have to give the system to the VA, but you can just give our trainings directly to the virtual assistant.
Yeah, we give them to the VAs, but they'll help us get the VAs so I don't have to spend all that time on the phone hiring them. And
absolutely. See,
you got a VA for everything. I love that. Now you and I are going to have to talk seriously. So remember, I'm going to call you and we're going to talk again because I know I'm needing more help than I've got. And I know a lot of us out there are that same way. We've done it ourselves. It's our baby. Nobody can do it as good as I can. And it takes me more time to explain to you how to do it than it does to do it myself. Are those excuses you've ever heard?
Yeah, and it always frustrates me when people say that. I mean, yeah, at some point you can't do it all yourself. And Alex Sharfin has a great quote that if you think you're the only person that can do what you do in your business, I have news for you. You're not that special. And that one always stuck with me.
I love that. I love that. Well, everybody, seriously, you're going to want to get in touch with Nathan and outsourceschool.com. They are going to make your life so much easier and help you grow your business, scale it to that next level. And, Nathan has done this. How many years now then? So I'm going to guess it's been about 23 years, 24 years.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I'm 31, but I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years.
Oh, come on. I wanted to give it back to you when you were a teenager. Right? But yeah, so 10 years, but that's still a long time. And that you started young, you started and made the trial and error, and the fact that you're learning still and you're willing to share with the other people. I love that you shared the hiring of that VA, or that you will with people who are in your group. So again, it's outsourceschool.com. Contact them and tell them you saw Nathan on the 7-figure jump, and he'll make sure that you get taken care of, because Nathan's just that kind of guy. Hey,
Absolutely.
Nathan, is there any other words you'd like to leave us with?
No, I appreciate you having me on. This was a lot of fun. Feel free to follow me, Nathan Hirsch, on any social media channel. We're always putting out content, and hopefully see a bunch of you in Outsource School. Thanks a lot.
Yep. And don't forget, those that are just listening, it's Hirsch, HIRSCH. Nathan Hirsch of Outsource School. And Nathan, you're an gem, and I love you. I love you. I love you. We've got lots of people that can use your help in a lot of the communities around here. So we look forward to talking to you again soon. Mwah.
Sounds good. Bye.
Well, Nathan's fabulous. Let's go ahead and go to our commercial break, and Robert and I can wrap this up after that.
Meet Marty Barigian, a transformational energy connector, a global energy master, seeker of the universe, and the abundance connector. Join Marty for a live 3-day energy attraction and abundance workshop, Friday, November 20th through Sunday, November 22nd. Harness the specific energy required to attract abundance, love, and vitality into your life. Purchase your ticket at martybarigian.vip/life. The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Inspiration, a way of leaving your legacy today and tomorrow. It's great to be inspired, but it's better to be the one doing the inspiring. Improving our children's lives, getting them excited about the things to come, and building a future. Also bringing our own selves more business, more credibility, and improving our search engine optimization. The value of quotes is they encourage us, speak to us, remind us, empower us, and comfort us. A thought can change your perception. Share your thoughts and offer strength to others. As Steve Jobs says, do something wonderful. Be a part of the Art of Connection. For more information and to secure your spot in history, go to www.365networkingquotes.com.
We don't talk enough about having systems, and systems are vital. And, there's a lot to the mindset, but if you don't have the systems in place, it doesn't matter what you think. You can't get it to work. Robert, what did you think about all of this great stuff about VAs today?
I loved what I heard about VAs today. And I really think VAs sometimes have the same reputation as networking. I always say it's not networking that's bad. It's bad networking that's bad. But you can say the same thing with VAs. It's not many times the VAs. It's Are they instructed right? Do they have the right procedures? Do they understand, the automation?
Yeah.
Do they understand the process and the sequence of that process? I think most VAs, they want to be employed. They want to be a part of something bigger. They signed up, with different organizations, not because they're just looking for a paycheck. They really are looking for something that they believe in and aligns with them. And that's what I loved about what Nathan was saying. Reward your people. It could be bonuses. It probably is other perks. It may be, some types of edification, but, people just want to be heard and appreciated. And I think the VAs that work best are those that are appreciated.
Well, and one of the ways that that he pointed out, and I loved it, and it's something that I know I did when I have a leadership role, more than I do. I have a leadership role now, but when I have lots of employees, how's that?
Yeah.
Is measurable standards. I mean, you've got to tell them what your expectations are, but what that means. I often tell the story about a young man that was late to work all the freaking time. And this is when I was operations. Well, it's when I was running a call center. I was the director of the call center. And undoubtedly, he would be late. And I would say, you've got to be on time. And he'd been written up, and he was great once he was there, but he just never got there. And one day I pulled in, and it was 2 minutes before the time, and he was out washing his car in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, and I'm just and I got up to the office, and about 10 minutes later, he comes rolling in, and I looked at him and I said, I'm going to have to let you go today because you were late. And he says, what do you mean I was late? You saw me in the parking lot. I was here. I said, excuse me? Well, I hadn't set measurable expectations, and somehow in his mind, being to work on time was being in the parking lot on time. In my mind, running a call center, that meant you were to work early, you got your drink, you went to your bathroom, you did whatever you had to do, you were sitting at your desk, and at the hour, your computer was on and you had your phone turned on to take that first call at the hour. And can you see the difference in expectations? And so when I'm yelling at him for not being on time, and I never yelled, but when I'm saying you've got to be on time, he's thinking, what more do you want? I'm here early every day. And I'm going, you are never here. When in reality, it was just that we didn't have measurable expectations, and I didn't give clear expectations to what I wanted. Once I told him what I expected, oh yeah, he took his first phone call at 8:00 every day. He just had no idea. And see, for me, that's one of those, are you kidding me? You had no idea. But there's a lot of things people say that about me or you or anybody else. To them, it's blatantly obvious. But to me, never occurred to me. And so when you go, oh, did she really just do that? I'm like, what? What did I do wrong? And so I think with the VAs, and he pointed that out, you set expectations, you give them the proper training, and then you show them appreciation. And it's not all about money to show them appreciation.
No, not at all. And I think that success goes hand in hand with clarity. You have to have a clarity. If you and I have two different sets of expectations without an agreement, we agree upon nothing. Because I believe that what I have is tried and true, and you believe what you have is tried and true. But again, I have worked for organizations. I've worked for corporate environments when they've also given me a manual this thick, and there is no way that I could possibly process what's all in that manual. I love that Nathan, he does many things in videos. And what I love about videos is there's a couple of things. It's the flexibility and the consistency and the uniformity of the videos creates scalability. And I think to go from a 6-figure to a 7-figure, a 7-figure to an 8-figure, you need that type of scalability. But here's the other thing that I thought was the most impressive thing that Nathan talked about in the show. And this is something, I have a technology background. And so many times when we look at VAs and we look at people in tech, we start to look at VAs as tech. And we forget that VAs aren't tech. They are people. And when Nathan said, you know what, people stick around when you treat them well, I thought that's a quote that he needs to keep and staples to his forehead, because it's so true. People aren't technology. They are relationships. You know, they have needs, they have desires, they have wants, and they just want to feel to be a part of. And when he said that, I thought, you know, he gets it. And that's what makes
Yeah.
him so successful, because he understands, you know, he's not in the VA business. He's actually in the relationship business.
Well, and you look at what he's willing to give to the people, to his clients. That is above and beyond anything I have seen anyone else do in this arena. I mean, way above and beyond. Often what they do is they give you just a little taste and just a little taste, and then they're like, I'm going to keep the rest of the information for myself. And he 100% transparent. I loved that he did his interview and training and all of that live, when it was like, wow, I love that.
I love it
Uh,
too. Did he say $97? Was that what he said?
97 a month, or you can get it. I don't remember if he said $9.97 or $9.99, but for just under $1,000 for the whole year. That is so freaking
I
inexpensive.
know people that pay more for Starbucks per month than oh my goodness. It is such a great place to start to really really truly level up your business. But you know what? See, here's the thing. You know, it's not just leveling up your business. When you talked about the hours, isn't it also leveling up your life?
Well, you know what, Robert, and you and I are both, workaholics. And you're much better than I am about this, of saying, nope, I'm done. I'm going to spend this time with my family. But can you imagine having an extra 5 hours a week to spend with your wife and kids?
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
it is.
And with your friends.
Right. I mean, like, one of the things I always say, it's like, you know, and you take it with the way it's meant. I always say, what good is to love my wife if I don't have enough time to enjoy her? I mean,
Yeah.
I have people that I don't like that I don't spend time with. This is someone who I love. And so to bring that quality back in my life, to have enjoyment with my wife, I mean, that's priceless.
Oh, yeah. And so, that's another thing I've had people say to me about VAs as I've talked to them in my work is, oh, I think everything is okay. My business is running smoothly. And, I ask them, if you had an extra hour a day, what would you do with it? Well, there's no way I could have an extra hour. Everything is No, seriously, if you had 1 hour a day that you didn't have to think about business extra every day, what would you do with it? And people go, uh, uh, and all of a sudden they realize all of the amazing things they could do with that hour. They could go sit in a sauna. They could go to lunch with a friend. They could spend time at the park relaxing, just watching people. They could go to the gym. They can play with their kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews. They could go sailing for an hour. I mean, there's a lot you can do in that hour. Or they can say 2 days a week, I'm going to take that hour and spend it on building relationships better with my clientele and having better relationships with them and having a better grip on my organization, on my company.
You know, and quite frankly, for a lot of us, just taking a little bit of extra time for self-care.
Yeah. Self-care is the one thing people have forgotten about because they're so busy trying to take care of everything else. So
Absolutely.
self-care is vital. And I'm really glad that Nathan was on today because, going to outsource a school, with the SOPs, the learning curve, the knowing how to talk to them, knowing what roles you could hire them for, what the difference is between the roles, that is an education that people go to school for years and don't always get it because you don't have the examples, and you get it off of somebody's theory, not off of their tried and true and working processes. So I'm excited. I'm going to join. I know I am.
Well, I appreciated this show today. I'm going to go ahead and get behind the curtain so you can have the last word, Dr. Karen. Thank you so much for today's show.
Oh, thank you, Robert. And Nathan was fabulous. He's wonderful. And before I invite you to come back again next week, I want to remind you to go out and vote today if you're from the States. So, that being said, join us every week at 9 Pacific, noon Eastern, and I think it's 4 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. That being said, you guys are fabulous. And next week we have another wonderful guest coming on, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Mwah!
Thank you for joining the 7-Figure Jump, a production of the Entrepreneur Radio Network with host Dr. Karen Perkins. Join Dr. Karen each week as she visits with new and exciting guests who inspire, teach, and mentor the secrets behind the 7-Figure Jump. Join us every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.